Hey guys, Fuller here with Custom Offsets. It is winter in Wisconsin. It is like 20 degrees out and I am freezing, but we're gonna bring you, this is an episode of Shit I Never Knew Winter Prep.
So clean, custom offsets, team stance is the team. I'm top of it now, we ain't never gonna fade, so you better get ready for taking over the game.
All right, so a couple things that we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about your tire selection, talk about some lighting issues, paint protection for both your truck and your wheels, as well as some tips for the diesel guys out there. All right, so you may or may not know that mud tires are not designed to be ran in the snow. By having a much wider tire, you actually, so it's like a flotation effect and you have a better chance of sliding across ice and snow. So a mud tire works really good if you're in deep snow. I mean, up here in Wisconsin, we'll have a couple feet on the ground at times, and you can drive through that no problem with a mud tire because it's nice and separated. You know, the lugs are separated apart from each other. Then you don't run into any issues. The issues you run into with mud tires are when you start driving them on the street and you have that like thin film, I guess, of ice or snow and it's packed down. The compound is not designed to be ran on ice like that. So there's a couple options you have as far as what tire selection to go with. If you have a big truck and it's lifted up, you know, they don't make like specific 35 or 37 or even 33-inch snow tires. So I think a lot of the guys around here are running hybrid tires and they seem to be okay in the snow. Regardless, you're not going to find a hybrid tire or a mud tire that are ideal in snow. The ones that probably work the best are actually the ATs because they are a little softer compound. They're not quite as hard as these mud tires, so you get the best traction out of those. But again, most people aren't going to buy a second set of tires just to run in the winter. So if you live in a climate like we do in Wisconsin, where you get feet of snow and it's always cold and there's ice on the road all the time, you might want to think about selecting a hybrid tire. If you haven't seen our hybrid video, we'll put a card. It should be right about here somewhere. You can click on that and that'll take you to the hybrid video if you want to learn more about those. We also did a tire comparison video between the mud tires, the all-terrain tires, and the hybrid tires. And again, we'll put a card on the screen. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can click on that. If you're on Facebook, come out to YouTube, subscribe, and then you can use all these other features that I'm talking about. So I think that should pretty much cover it for the mud tires. The next thing I want to talk about is lighting. So a lot of people, when they start to customize their trucks, they want to put in new headlights or add light bars, and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit. So the really common thing, probably even 3 or 4 years ago, not that long ago, was to put HIDs in. And what we've discovered in the cold climates is that the HIDs don't work that well in the cold because they do take some time to warm up. So when you first turn your truck on, those HIDs aren't very bright. In fact, if you're buying the eBay kits, they can literally be so dim that you can barely see. You might as well just run with your corner lights on. So the best kind of lighting you can use in the winter is LED lighting. It doesn't take any time to warm up. You turn the vehicle on and the LEDs are just as bright. So whether you're buying a complete replacement LED headlight using the LED light bars or just buying the retrofit kits to put into your stock headlights, the LEDs work really good. Now, if you put an LED in a regular housing that has like your typical chrome shield in it, you are gonna throw light everywhere, which might be good for you, but it does blind other drivers. So you wanna just be courteous of that. And the LED headlights also do work really good in projectors, and that's gonna give you a cleaner beam and not be throwing light all over the place. So just be aware too though that not all LEDs, you know, a lot of the LED retrofit kits that you're buying, the LED bulb is actually bigger than your stock components. So just make sure that's gonna fit, you know, inside your housing. The standard housings usually don't have a problem because there's a whole bunch of space between the chrome backing and the plastic front. But if you're putting it in a projector housing, just make sure you have the space to do that. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is ceramic coating. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically you go through, get your vehicle detailed. It has to be clean before you apply this coating. And then what that does, it kind of acts as almost, I guess if you wanted to call it simply, it acts as like a wax. It's like a shield between your paint and the elements. By having that coating on there, you can literally pour water on it and it just beads right off. So it's kind of like Rain-X for your windshield. And you can put that on any painted surface on your vehicle as well as on the wheels. What we did for wheel protection last year, somebody said you can put WD-40 on your wheels. It leaves a film on there and it acts as a protectant. So we wanted to try it. We tried it on both painted and polished. If you want to see those videos, again, we'll put a card right here and you can click on that to see those videos. In conclusion, to give you the short answer, on painted wheels, we found out it does work pretty good. It adds a film to it. You kind of like put it on lightly and leave that film on, and the snow and the salt and the ice, and that all gets packed in there. If you bring it inside, and in our case, we can bring it inside and wash it down, but if you use just hot water or go to the car wash and spray it off, all of the road grime comes right off and you can reapply that WD-40 coating. On chrome wheels, it doesn't work. We tried it and ruined a set of chrome wheels that we had on the Hummer. They still had pitting and they just didn't work out very good. So you have chrome wheels, you don't want to do that. Try to stick to the ceramic coating. The other option you can do if you want to go the cheap way, it doesn't work the greatest, but Plastidip is a good option too if you want to cover your entire wheels in Plastidip. That should protect them from the elements a little bit. But again, it's a pain, and when it comes springtime, it's not the easiest to get off. There's a couple different ways you can try it, but I'll let you look into that if you want to do it that way. The last part here is mainly for the diesel guys, so we're going to talk about a couple things involving that. Number one being the block heater. So this is an option on both gas trucks and diesel trucks. Here in Wisconsin, I think every diesel that I've ever seen usually comes with a block heater, other than the BMW diesel that I drive, and that's a whole new system, but we won't get into that. So the reason you have a block heater, when you can plug your truck in, it's going to keep the engine block warm, which in turn, the residual heat from that is going to heat up your oil and the coolant. So not only does it make it easier to start, but it also gives you heat faster in the vehicle. So it's a comfort thing and a practicality thing, because obviously you want your vehicles to start all the time. The oil in winter, because it's so cold, tends to become thicker. The viscosity is thicker. So it's harder for it to circulate, and you don't want to starve your engine of oil. Obviously that would be very detrimental, and if you end up with an engine replacement, that's very costly. So by having the engine block heater, you keep the oil thinner, and that allows it to start faster. And then because the coolant is also preheated, that you have heat in the vehicle faster for comfort wise. With diesels, typically they're running 2 batteries, but even in your gas trucks, you want to make sure that you have a decent battery with plenty of cold cranking amps. The more you have, obviously the better it's going to crank over in the cold. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just wanted to touch on that a little bit. The oil that you're running also makes a difference. So Rotella actually has a 10W30 that you can run in the diesels all season. That just makes it easier. You're buying the same oil, you don't have to worry about having 2 different types. But if you are running a thicker oil in the summer, you want to change it out to something thinner in the winter. Again, so that it's just easier to flow throughout the engine. You're not starving the engine of oil. Lastly, the other important thing for the diesels is to put some anti-gel in there. If your fuel gels up, again, you're going to run into issues starting your truck and even driving it down the street. If your fuel is gelling up, you're going to have a lugging effect, and it's going to be really hard on the engine to keep itself running. But that should just be a kind of a quick video to show you some of the winter tips that we have for prepping your vehicle for the winter, whether it be gas or diesel. But if you have any other questions regarding winter driving or anything, feel free to drop them in the comments below or shoot us a message. We'll be happy to answer them. And then if you have any other suggestions as far as what to do to keep like the wheels clean, we'll try something again. So last year people recommended a couple different wax products. We're probably going to give those a shot. But if there's something that you use or something you've heard of that you're unsure about, let us know what it is, and we'll give it a shot. We're not afraid to wreck some wheels. Peace. I can't do peace because I got mittens on. How do I do peace? Peace. Sound? You got audio on? Whew. Does my hat look good? I'm pretty excited.